Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how we'll get down those stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I'm wondering what it is I should do. It's so hard to keep a smile on my face, losing control, yeah, all over the place. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, you started out with nothing, and you're proud that you're a self-made man. Yeah, your friends, they all come crawling and slap you on the back and say, please, please, hey. We're trying to make some sense of it all, but I can see it makes no sense at all. Is it cool to go to sleep on the floor? 'Cause I don't think I can take any more. Ooh, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, you started out with nothing, and you're proud that you're a self-made man. Yeah, your friends, they all come crawling and slap you on the back and say, please, please. Whoa. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how we'll get down those stairs. Oh, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, I'm stuck in the middle with you. Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle with you. One more. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Well, all right, folks. How are you doing tonight and today, or when this morning, or whenever you are watching this thing? Happy and just excited to bring my old friend here, Ray Auger. I think I got it correctly.
You did. And nobody ever does. So
episode 34, and you guys said I'd never be doing this long, but I have been. And Ray is, you know, a mythic legend in the greater Boston Metro West, Lower Worcester, I don't know, what do you call our
Greater
area?
Milford area. The Greater
Milford area.
There's like 14 or 15 surrounding towns. It's the radio station's draw,
Right.
The demographic in that area. So
Yeah, but he goes, you go to North Shore too. I've seen you up in Salisbury playing up there.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while. But
So let me do a little bit of the bio here. Okay. Born in East Brookfield, Mass, and I don't really know what that is. No. Is there an airport there?
In Leicester. So,
right next
so
to
you
it,
got
right.
Worcester, Leicester, Spencer, and the Brookfields.
Yeah, I'm
Route
an old
9.
pilot here, so I think I've landed in every airport in Massachusetts. But Ray spent his childhood in that small town. After high school, he attended Dean Junior College, where my wife worked for many years.
Oh, nice.
She was in the alumni group over there, handling that, and to pursue a career in broadcasting. Ray has worked in the field for nearly 30 years, currently doing mornings and acting as operations manager for 101.3 in Milford. What's that called?
It's My FM, yeah.
My FM. Okay. Ray is actively involved in the greater Milford music scene, singing in various bands over the years. Currently, he is a singer of the electro-acoustic four-piece band called the Pub Kings. And I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about how your business works and how that works with a full band in these tight, small sort of places, and you don't blow people's ears off. I know that's part of your business plan. So Ray has three children, 25,
Yeah.
14,
Yeah.
and 11. No 2-year-olds, 3-years.
No.
To
Two
round
marriages,
off,
though.
that'd be a good kind of bell curve. And he's happily married to his very beautiful wife, Molly. How you doing, Molly? Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
East Brookfield, Massachusetts. Where is that exactly?
So on Route 9, you got Worcester, you got Leicester, Spencer, and then the Brookfields. And
Okay,
East Brookfield's
cool.
the first Brookfield town.
And that's true Central Mass.
That's Central Mass.
That's
yeah,
about
Worcester
as
is
central
like
as it gets.
Yeah, I know that I looked it up once, and there is a point where it's the exact center,
Yeah.
and I think that might be in Worcester, somewhere in Worcester.
Yeah.
But we're just to the left of Worcester.
Yeah, and I normally ask before we shoot how old someone is, because I like to know, what influenced them. But let's talk about that. What's your first memory of saying, like, music is really cool?
It was Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem.
All I had on the radio was WSRS and AAF out of Boston.
Right.
And East Brookfield. We just didn't have the
Right.
reach. We couldn't grab those the station. So I grew up I don't know if he wasn't on SRS because that was an elevator music
Right,
station
right.
when I grew up. But I don't know where I found him. But yeah, it was Casey Kasem. It was American Top 40. It was the Top 40 music. It was the if you want to go further back, I guess I'd have to give credit to my parents and their album collection. But their album collection was Barry Manilow, Billy Joel.
Are your parents still alive?
My mom is, yes.
In ballpark age-wise, we won't give it away, Mom, but
Yeah, it's 70s, early 70s.
early 70s.
And I
so
just
she's
turned
a
50
little bit
in
older
March.
than me, so... Oh, right, I saw that
On
on
March
Facebook.
3rd, yeah.
So, 50.
So yeah, The Stranger was the first album I think I really got a
The
chance to
Stranger
listen
with
to.
Billy Joel?
Billy Joel, yeah.
Yeah?
So, and I would listen to it over and over
What
again.
year was that?
Oh, I mean, late 70s, right?
Late
78,
70s.
79 maybe?
And
Could
you were
be
a
wrong.
kid?
I was just a kid, sitting
Right.
behind the chair in the living room playing the records and Barry Manilow's live album. And a lot of Bill Cosby albums, which...
That's funny, because his albums... That was back in the days when comedy albums were a thing.
Yeah.
And his first albums were beyond hilarious. Be crying, laughing.
The stories were
you know.
amazing. But we can't listen to them anymore.
I know.
Right?
Let's good on the Bill Cosby. Right. So you're a kid, Barry Manilow.
Yeah, that was...
You're like 10-ish?
Yeah, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow had a melody of the commercials that he wrote, the music for commercials. I remember that.
Yeah.
McDonald's. McDonald's, was that one of them? I just remember in the middle of the concert he did a medley of those, and I think that's why I was attracted to it. Because
He was a serious level musician. People don't really, they kind of goof around on him, but he was a serious major league
Well, he writes the
producer,
songs.
writer, and performer.
Yeah. He wrote the songs that everyone sings.
Okay, so Billy Joel, he write the song.
But he didn't write that one. That's
he didn't
that's a
write
fun
that.
fact, yeah. The only song he didn't write of his was I Write the Songs.
So 10-ish years old, you're getting into that.
Yep.
What was the thing that got you really excited, like at 15?
Yeah,
'Cause
again.
I always think of you as a rocker,
Yeah,
a metal guy.
a
No?
late bloomer. No, I was, but I was top 40. I was a huge Duran Duran fan in junior high.
Really? I would have
Yeah.
never thought that.
And then a little bit of rap in high school, but that was 86 to 90.
And that was
So-
your age group. It's like us. When I watched the Super Bowl, I'm like, what? I don't
Yeah,
get
but it was
any
even
of this.
before that. It was
Did
it
you
was
like
Rob
that Super Bowl
Bass.
thing?
It was you know what? I respected it. I think I enjoyed half of it. Some of the artists I didn't get.
Right.
Eminem, it was good to see him back, I guess. I'd rather see some classic rock or some good old country music.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks on center stage with a couple of the other big guys. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't really do anything for me.
Because I was wondering, guys your age, just like, you guys, got influenced by some of that rap stuff, which guys my age just we didn't know what that was.
Right.
It's, as Matt Zajac said on Facebook, he was saying it was guys speaking fast rhythmically.
That's true. There's a lot of art that goes into it. I don't like
guess
today's
so.
rap.
I really don't get it.
I don't like the vulgar rap. I don't like the. I don't like the. I don't know, the aggressive stuff. But I grew up with the dance rap, the
Right.
Rob Bass and Young MC and Public Enemy was a great band. But I was really into that. And then it was the 80s hair bands. So it was Poison and Rat and Def Leppard.
Right,
That was the second half of my high school years. That's where I really got into rock and roll.
And we're probably flowing some pictures here
Yeah.
of you, and you were a theater guy.
I was, and that
We have some
started
pictures
early.
of you as a kind of performer, it looked like,
Yeah.
from shows.
Well, one was me very young, and I was, I don't know if you have that picture, but I was on stage reciting a poem, and I think it was a farm
Was that the
poem.
cowboy thing? We get that
Okay,
picture,
so
right?
yeah. I was reciting something. It was like a
How old were you then?
4-line, I must have been kindergarten or something.
Yeah.
And then junior high was me with the mustache.
Mustache.
And that
What
was
was that?
That was Drabble. Remember the comic strip Drabble?
No,
I didn't
no.
either. But we did a play,
Yeah.
and I was Bart. I remember the name, and I was the bad guy. I was the villain.
Yeah.
And I asked the conductor to play the gun. What is it? Peter Gunn theme.
Uh-huh.
That was my entrance,
All
and it
right.
wasn't part of the. You know it, yeah. Yeah. That was my entrance. Every time I came on stage.
Yeah, something like that.
So that was me, like, almost learning how to direct too. Like, let's do this. Let's bring me into this, and with that song, and so that was a fun experience. And then throughout high school, I played football, but the theater director came to a practice once and said, "I need some guys."
Now, Ray, were you quarterback?
Oh, I was not quarterback at all. I had 3 very talented friends that were on the football team, and I just followed them there. So
Yeah.
I was a center.
What high school?
David Prouty High School.
Is that in that
86
town?
and 90. That's in Spencer, so it's a regional, so
Uh-huh,
right
right.
next door. And then I got into theater, so junior, senior year,
Uh-huh.
musicals and plays, and
Right.
then in college, junior college, I did a show.
And again, those of us who know Ray in the music scene, we always, I assumed he was like a musician,
Yeah.
like from like I was at 10 years old, 15 years old, doing my first gig. 52 years ago, and so he didn't. You
No,
were
I
a
started
theater
late.
guy, and theater people are very, very different type people.
Yeah.
they have different. It's like I have a friend of my daughter's a friend. She was a real theater person, Franklin School for the Performing Arts. Whenever she meet me, it's like, "Hi, Mr. McGoldrick."
Always on, yeah.
yeah. So
Jazz hands.
So you went to Dean, which has theater, I believe. Right?
It did. I did
But you
Little
didn't
Shop
do
of
theater.
Horrors.
Oh, you did.
But I wasn't part of the department. I just did it, and
Yeah.
because I went into communications, TV and radio broadcasting.
Uh-huh.
All over the place. And I attribute that to David Prouty High School. I had 100 kids in my class. So there
Tiny.
were cliques, but all the cliques intermingled.
Uh-huh.
And, like I was friends with, I was part of the theater group, the football team, the
Right.
stoners and the
So the
drinkers and
the jocks
all of them, the
and-
jocks, all of it.
and
We
the
were all
rockers.
one. We could all go to the same kegger in the woods
Right, right.
and get along.
Yeah.
It was a nice experience. I think that really shaped me into who I am today, where I can really fit in anywhere.
So doing the math, that's late 70s.
No, it was 86 to 90.
Okay, late 80s.
Yeah,
so
yeah, late 80s.
Yeah, I can see why you were into that slick rock and roll. Is what I kind of called it.
The
It
glam
was,
rock and,
the
yeah.
hair blow, the hair dryers, and
Yeah, big
which
hair.
Only a few years later. And again, I didn't get into a lot of that, and I definitely didn't get into that Nirvana scene. But looking back, I can kind of see where that came from, and okay, they just want to go straight into an amp and not wash their hair and play real loud.
Yeah, and
it's a total against the Duran Duran thing.
Oh, absolutely,
Right.
yeah. And it was just, it was a time where it was just about celebrating friends and partying and enjoying each other's company
Right.
and drinking and girls and all that. So that
Right.
was my formative years. So it really
Right.
clicked with me. And I'm still a huge fan. But I have such a wide range of
Yeah.
musical likes and
Now-
not many dislikes.
At Dean, were you on the college radio station?
I
Did
was.
they have a station?
Yeah, Super Rock Stereo,
Yeah.
WGAO. Still there. Great station.
And did they? I mean, because you have such a great radio voice. I mean,
It's developed over the years, and I
Right.
still don't see it myself. But
I do.
I
I
can't
mean,
listen to
just-
those old tapes. It's it's embarrassing.
Right.
I don't listen to anything I do. If I record myself singing, I can't listen back. But
a lot of us is that way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I cringe sometimes. But did you do any bands in college?
man, I didn't. So go back really quickly to high school. We didn't have any bands. There was nobody in the town we weren't putting bands together like you see now. There were no
Right.
cover bands. There was no original bands. I had one friend who had a band, and he was older than me. So I didn't know
Yeah.
how great and powerful live local music can be. So I've always wanted to do it. Like you'd see it on TV. Like I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And I sang in the jazz band in high school for a stint, but it wasn't until I was 30 that I really buckled down and said, I'm putting a band together. And it was a band of consisting of radio guys that I was working with at the time.
Uh-huh.
We opened up for a bigger act and said, let's put a station band together for the station show that we're doing. And we got to open up for them. And that was my first professional.
And I think that's the difference between the period of time, just growing up maybe 10, 15 years before you, every single corner.
Yeah.
When, the Beatles came out in '64, and I was a young kid, and I'm there. I don't
There's
know
your
what they're
influence.
doing, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so did every kid. And that's when the Fender Stratocaster and the Gibson Les Paul, it just exploded. And if you were growing up in the early 60s, mid-60s, and going to high school in the early 70s, you wanted to be in a band or play football. I did both because the girls like musicians and football players.
That's right.
You know, I didn't like getting my backside kicked as a football player, but you know, so you're in college.
Yep.
How do you say, let's put a bunch of guys together? Did they play?
Well, that wasn't until I was 30. So now I've already started my radio career, and I'm in Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay, let's go into that. Okay, you graduate college.
Yep.
You immediately get into the radio business.
No, I expected a job. I expected Kiss 108 to call me and say, "You're doing the morning show because you just graduated from Dean Junior College." So I was, a little full of myself at the time, and I wasn't going to work for any old radio station. So it took a while to get into it.
Interrupt you. Those people, I don't care what you're talking about in terms of arts and broadcasting. Getting in.
Oh, absolutely.
Is hard as it gets, I think.
Yeah, but I would just get in anywhere. Just get in anywhere.
Right.
Sweep the floors somewhere.
So what'd you do? Tell
so
me
I got
that
into
story.
sales. I got married, and then I got my first job in '97 on Cape Cod doing nights. And I'm like, wow, this is my first real professional job.
Real job during the day? Or
No, I could. It was a full-time gig.
You could pay the bills with that.
Sort of, yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
Right.
Kids at home,
Yeah, we don't make a lot of money, but, it was my dream job. And I had a few small jobs, WSRS and WTAG in Worcester.
Yeah.
So I was still in the business, but that was my first professional job. That was my first real full-time job.
Right.
And then I go to Concord, and I'm doing a morning show now, and that was
Concord,
exciting.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, yeah.
Living down here.
No, I moved. Yeah,
You
so
moved
I've
up
moved
there.
a lot. I've moved 15 or 16 times in the last 30 years.
Which is the nature of that business,
It is,
right?
yeah. Luckily, I didn't have to go too far. I went to Utah. That was it. I went to Salt Lake City for 6 months. Otherwise, it was bouncing around New England. But this is my home. I don't want to go any
So
further.
say that again. I missed that. Salt Lake?
I went to Salt Lake City for 6 months, yeah. I was hoping
And
to...
you brought your wife and...
No, I wasn't married at the time. So I just
Uh-huh.
had a girlfriend at that time, and we
Molly?
went... No, it wasn't Molly.
Somebody
No,
else.
It was someone else. We went across country, and 6 months later, I was a little homesick. I still had a 2 or 3 year old at home. And
Right.
it was just going to be a stepping stone, because it was the top 40 radio market. I'm like, oh, this would be great. And then I can get back home in Providence,
And that's
Worcester,
how they
Boston.
all do it. If
Yeah.
you watch these newscasters, especially like newscasters, they all start in the middle of somewhere in the country, Peoria, and then they move to Buffalo, then they move to like a Providence, and then
Yep.
they get into a Chicago.
Right. Yeah, I decided that I enjoyed... I don't know if I decided or my talent dictated that I would work at a small radio station. I like the community, and it's just like being part of this greater Milford music scene.
Right.
I love small town. I love community. I love being able to walk outside the studios and talk to people that were just listening to me, and they know me, but they also know me from the music scene. They know me from this committee that I'm on. That's important to me. If you're in a big city, you kind of get lost,
Right.
especially with the competition.
And I want to get into... Ray has done more in the community in terms of charity and things like that than anyone else I know. I want to hit on that, but I like to go sequentially.
Yeah.
So we're 30.
Yeah, 30 years
and
old.
again, you and I have talked about this. You may not remember this, but what is the hardest thing in rock and roll to find? The lead singer. There are a million guitar players. They all play. Bass players, drummers, boom. Who's the guy, lead singer for Van Halen? That you and I,
David Lee
Hager.
Roth. Oh, Sammy Hagar. I love Sammy
You reminded
Hagar,
me of
yeah.
Sammy Hagar, and I did not know that you were a Sammy Hagar sort of aficionado, and you really looked up to him,
Yeah.
sort of thing. The hardest thing to find is that guy with, I can't use the word I want to use, the courage to be the guy up front being the singer. It's hard to find. It takes a certain personality, and just like a lot of these people, your real personality is very different than your stage personality.
I think it's elevated. Absolutely. I think a little bit more subdued in person.
Yeah.
But, it's acting. You're putting on a show.
Right.
But it is who I am deep down inside. It's letting the bear out, you know what I mean?
So before we get into that, did you
Yeah.
do any acting in those 20s?
Yeah, in my 20s,
Any-
no.
So you
well,
got
did
away
I
from that
did some
completely.
community. I did a community thing in North Brookfield. But that was it.
But
Yeah, it was
broadcasting
radio.
was your thing.
Broadcasting was it.
So
But that's
you-
also acting, doing a morning show. I'm on. I have to entertain. So there's a level of
So you
theater.
made a living in one of the hardest industries to be in for what, 25 years?
Yeah, 25 professionally, 30-ish is when I got out of Dean and
And
had a
then
few
go into what we
part-time.
call the straight world. That I spent almost 40 years in sales.
Yeah, I did some
High-tech
sales in between because you're in between jobs. I drove a
Right.
limo for 2 years.
Right.
So it hasn't been consistently 30 years.
Right.
But yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
So you tell me about this band. What was the name of that first band?
So it was the Fugitive Monkeys. And
I love that.
We asked listeners to call in with their
Right.
favorite name or what we should name the band, and we picked that one, Fugitive Monkeys. And the guitar player did afternoons. The night guy was
And
the
he could
drummer. And yeah, we
They
had
could
an
all play
intern
pretty
on
good?
bass. It was
Yeah.
great. And we practiced a bit. We did 4 or 5 songs, and we
Where? What
opened
town?
for this is Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay.
We opened for one of the bigger acts at the time, it was Dexter Freebish, which had a one-hit wonder. It was the '90s, so it was all
Right.
those one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
And that was it. We opened for them in front of like 3,000 people, and it was exciting. And I said, "This is what I want to do."
Right.
And then we started doing cover gigs at local bars after that.
Uh-huh.
And then that took off. And then I joined my first original band, the Twitch.
The Twitch, and we
yeah.
have a picture of the Twitch.
Yeah, the Twitch was
and that's
great.
a really kind of cool was that a pro shot? Because that looked like a pro shot in black and
No,
white.
it was one of those selfie things on the chair.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And then a little manipulation with Photoshop. That was a great band. That I got to start writing. So not music, but the lyrics.
Right.
And I love writing lyrics. So it was just old school AC/DC type rock and roll.
Uh-huh.
First chorus, solo chorus out.
Yeah.
And singing about drinking and girls and all that.
Right.
But I really enjoy writing. And that we wrote 15, 20 songs.
And
that was fun.
Did that get any record company interest?
No, not at all.
Were you up in Concord then?
That was started in Concord. Was I in Portsmouth by then? Maybe I was in Portsmouth. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Everything's
you
a
and I
blur.
talked. So you
I
lived
just
up in
turned
Newburyport,
50,
right?
so
Up in that
a little
area.
foggy. Yeah, when I was working in Portsmouth at another morning show, we moved to Newburyport and then Amesbury. So we were up there for 3 or 4 years.
And what kind of morning shows were you doing?
It was the one in Portsmouth was called Two Guys and a Girl, and that's what it was. It was just me and another guy and a girl, and we just talked about fun things, took phone calls, and that's it.
Mixed
just
in with,
goofy
like,
with
music?
top 40 music, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we weren't the zoo, we weren't the rock and roll
And Portsmouth's
Howard
a pretty
Stern
big
type
town
thing.
compared to Concord.
It was a good market, and I really enjoyed my time up there. I got to work with some friends,
It's a
which was
beautiful
nice.
area. I love that
Oh, we
part
still go up
of
there.
the state.
Yeah, we still go up
Of
there.
New England.
Yep.
And then what happened?
And then
Oh,
I
were
dro-
you doing a band then?
that was
Portsmouth?
the Twitch. That was the original band.
Okay, so
yeah, and then I had to drive a limo because I lost the radio job, and then the thing in Milford popped up, and
So
my
let me ask you about this. So you're doing the limo thing.
yeah.
Like the whole time for 2 years, you're trying to get radio gigs.
You are, yeah. You're constantly sending your tape and your resume in, and it's frustrating because
Is it all just a friend business? In other words, you needed to know someone to get in?
It's funny because if you leave a radio station, you lose your friends. Like nobody ever keeps in touch with you. You're so close, and then I don't know if they're afraid they're gonna catch what you have. You know, you lost your job. They don't want to catch the losing of the job thing, so they stay away from you. So it's really a weird business.
Yeah, I think all businesses are like that to a point. But I mean, I did 40 years with about 20 different companies in high tech,
Yeah.
and it was always once you got in, then it was a group of friends. They'd go, and then they'd bring you, and then we'd all get fired and go to another company, and that's how that works.
Yeah.
So you're up there.
Yep.
And what years did the Milford thing come up?
Well, that was about 12 years ago. I think this is my 12th year. I'm going on my 13th year in Milford, and it's fantastic
So
because
that's 2010.
2009, 2010, yeah,
Uh-huh.
something like that. I every year I try to remember exactly what
And
my
that's when I
anniversary
was
is.
playing with Sarah Thompson.
Yes.
And that's when Sarah Thompson got me in touch with you.
I mean, you and Sarah were probably one of the first musicians I met.
Right.
And-
Really?
And talked to.
Because I thought you were the
I just
guy
get
in
started.
that area.
It took a year or so to get what I got going.
Yeah.
Which was just I don't know what I did. I just tried to unite people. I booked a few rooms. I did the local music awards. We brought that in.
See, I always figured you grew up with Rob DeDominic,
Dominic, yeah.
who we'll
trade,
talk
yeah.
about the Tradesman, which was a place that we all loved, and it unfortunately burned down
Mm-hmm.
in Milford last year. I figured you guys were boyhood friends with Tim
No.
Rice and Rob.
No, they're all
'cause-
8 or 9 year old friends of mine.
Wow.
We
I
just
mean,
got
'cause
close
you're
real
so
fast.
close,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. Tim's a very good friend of mine. Tim Rice Photo.
Yeah, Tim Rice Photo.
I mean, talk about local music.
Tim
I mean, he
Rice does
shot
the
everybody.
impossible. He makes guys like me, old guys, look cool.
He made us
I
all
owe
look
it
cool.
to you, man.
I mean, if anybody looked in from any other music scene, they would be so jealous. I don't see photos in Boston like that. I don't see bands hanging out together. We did the social at the Tradesman. Nobody was doing
no
that
such
anywhere.
thing.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe there is, and we just don't know about it.
Maybe.
But so you're 2010. You're at what is the channel now? It is.
Well, it was WMRC at the time.
WMRC
It was
back then,
AM.
and it was AM.
Yeah.
Right, I remember that.
So that was, it wasn't ideal, but it was a job.
Right.
And my family.
In the industry.
In the industry. My family is from Milford. So my grandparents moved there. My dad stayed back in the Brookfields. That's why I grew up there.
Yeah.
But all my extended family was in Milford. So this was my second hometown.
Yeah.
So it was great to find a job there, surrounded by family.
Right.
And then it turned into My FM 4 or 5 years ago. And now we're FM. And we
Still independent? Not owned by
No, it's
iHeart
owned
or
single family. Oh, that's another factor. The fact that somebody owns it, like a single, it's a family, and they're from Marlboro, and they're right next door, and I don't have to answer to any corporate bull.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice.
I hope we don't run out of time because I get
I
so
know.
many other things. So it's 2010-ish, 11-ish. When did the Tradesman thing start?
Right around the time I got there, Rob, he was managing the Macajano Club in Milford, and maybe a few years, maybe 2001. No, where are we? 2011. 2011, 12. He bought the Tradesman, and it was just. It goes far back. It goes way back. But it was just a place where guys would go and drink during the day. They'd shut the doors at night. It wasn't open at night. Isn't that weird?
It's what we
like this
call,
became a
growing
night.
up, what we would call a men's bar.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And then Rob got in there, and then Justin and myself. Justin played.
And introduce Justin.
Oh, Justin Redden, who.
Did you grow up with him?
I didn't. No.
I don't believe it.
No. He was playing with a girl as well, and I just met him through booking him at Peppercini's and a couple other places.
Right.
And then she left, and I'm like, oh, we should do something. And he got us the gig at the Tradesman, and he had played. I think he had just played for fun with his last partner there. But Justin and I think, were the first ones to get paid to play the Tradesman. And then my band, Toll Booth Willie, which was a 90s grunge tribute, we were the first band to play at the Tradesman. So that was my relationship with Rob. That's how I got in there. And then I would just call Rob and say, I've got something. What? You don't need to know. Don't worry about it. It'll be this Friday night. It's going to be great. And Rob put that trust in me, and we had some wild parties at the Tradesman.
And then eventually moved to something that we used to call the social. The social was on Monday, the first Monday of every month, and every musician who was anybody, and some that were nobodies, would show up and play on a Monday. This was a bar where, had we not brought that, there'd be 3 people in that bar on that Monday night, if they wouldn't even be open.
Oh,
You couldn't get a parking spot.
Yeah, Monday night,
You could
100
not
of people
get a
there.
parking spot.
Till midnight, 12:30 on a school night.
Right.
And Gay Prokosky is doing it at the Valley Pub, which Rob owned at one time. So she is now keeping that tradition alive at the Valley Pub, and she's doing a great job. That's in Whitensville. But Gay's done a great job with that. Same feel, like you said. You got the pros that come in, pros as far as we can be pros, I guess. And the people who have never thought of doing it before, but just wanted to get up and sing a song. Almost like an open mic, but it's more of a chance for musicians to connect.
It was a blast, and I've met some, like, what I consider lifelong friends there. I mean, like a Tony Parenti, who was here last month.
You had Tony last week, or last month, and he was that's where I met Tony, was the social.
Right.
But I want to say that was like his first reintroduction of his music was at the social.
Right.
I don't think he was doing the
I don't think so. That was
Tony
doing
Soul
200
thing.
gigs a year.
Yeah, right? But he wasn't doing it then.
Right.
He came in one day, blew everyone away. We gave him the game ball, and then he never left.
And musician in the many, many years I've been doing this tend to not be so collaborative, tend not to be so supportive. Ray brought this group together, and we were all supportive of each other. No jealousy, no backstabbing. All positive. There might have been somewhat along the way I didn't see, but it was in my many years of doing this, I never found a group of musicians that were so supportive of what I was doing and supportive of each other.
That was the spirit of the social.
Right.
Was community.
And I couldn't believe how many musicians we have in this here. So let's talk about, we got a few videos we're going to play here. First one is at Lost Shoe, and this is sort of a bunch of tunes.
Yeah, this is one of those like montages, like the promo package that I would send out. This is recent, within the last year.
The name of this band is the Pub Kings.
This is the Pub Kings, yeah. This is the latest
thing.
thing.
Talk about the Pub Kings a little bit, about what your story is.
So a few years ago before the pandemic, I was in 3 or 4 bands. It was ridiculous.
It was every week, I tell you, there's a new fan page.
Right. And I enjoyed that. And it was all the same guys. We just put some fun stuff together. Maybe it lasted a month. Maybe it lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
But the Pub Kings is really where I'm happy. And I've narrowed everything down to this one band. It's an electroacoustic band. So we've got Fitch on drums, but it's an electric kit.
Yeah.
We got Bill on bass, electric bass, and then Justin's on acoustic.
Right.
So we can turn up, we can turn down, we can play a bigger club, have 2 Boses,
Right.
and really crank it. Or we could be in the corner of a small bar like La Chou, it's a rather smaller place,
Right.
and turn it down. And as the night goes on, if we have to turn up, we can turn up. It's really a nice situation.
So let's take a listen to this that video.
Hold it high, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers to you on this Friday night. Wherever you are tonight, wherever you go to, grab a long egg bottle or a big old pint. That's all I do. 'Cause we're all in this together. It's all so clear. Drinking out of 18 effort. There ain't no idea. Hey! We're the Pub Kings. Thanks for coming out tonight. I do. I'll bring it back today night. It's only right to think about the dirty love. And hold it tight, so happy together. If I should call you up, invest in life, and you say you belong to me, he's mine. Now the world will be so very. Now you have to pay for the candy. Together, he's got. I can't say love it all my life. It's not so good all my life. This is where the words get down. Every chase is not
We are back here, and we got a few pictures here I wanted to go over here. Tell me about the Abe Froman, what that means, who that is, and who are the guys in this picture with the sunglasses?
Well, Abe Froman is the Sausage King of Chicago from Ferris Bueller.
Right.
So this is an 80s project I put together. Pop,
Right.
top 40, pop
Yeah.
80s, Duran. We were talking about them earlier. Stuff like that. And, we played the part. We dressed up in the Don Johnson outfits. And and it was just another one of those let's do an 80s thing. And see what happens. And we
Right.
played a few gigs. That one lasted about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we played it's all local. But remember, we had the venues then.
Right.
We lost the Tradesman. Liz's shut down. 140 Pub and Club is gone.
Is
as
that
well.
completely gone?
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of venues left. It's tough to do the band
Ray,
thing.
I don't even know how many over the last. I've been doing my acoustic thing for 13 years now. 50 places might have closed, or drop music. So the next picture here. Let's tell me about the Yacht Band. What was that
Yacht
called?
Rock. Yacht Rock. So that was
Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock. That is early '70s, late '80s West Coast rock. Michael McDonald and Christopher Cross, that kind of stuff. AM Gold is what they used to call it.
Yeah,
I grew up with AM Gold as well. When we're talking about musical influences in the car with my parents. So that was fun. That was just going to be a show, just one show, and there were 3 bands. And I asked my friends.
Over here in Franklin, right?
We did the Black Box in Franklin. We did Central. So we did
Right.
2 shows there. And I asked one group of friends, you put something together, and then you put something together, and I'll put something together. And then we just did 3 bands one night, and mine was Captain and the Steubings. And Ed Barry was on drums. We just
Ed
lost
is
Ed.
a close friend of ours, a drummer who passed away last week.
Yeah.
Is good a man and is great a drummer, and it was very, very sad.
Yeah.
Very
But
sad.
I'm just so glad I got to work with him.
Yeah.
So him and Kelly was on.
For
on
years,
keys.
Ray, I've been thinking about me, and who's the bass player? Dan Sutton.
Oh, Dan,
I want
yeah.
to do a trio with those guys.
You should.
And that's the thing. You should before you can't.
Yeah.
And we can't anymore with that. But that looked like, and Kelly, it was the keyboard player in that band too.
Yeah.
And she's a good friend of ours. And
She
Carolyn,
got very close with Ed over the years.
Right, and they all were. So it's just
Carolyn, and Todd was on bass. My
Yeah.
friend Todd, who was in Toll Booth Willie with me. I forget who else was there that day. Anyway, it was a blast. We just played, I'm trying to think of some songs like Boz Scaggs. We did a Boz Scaggs song. We did.
I wish I could remember some bars. I used to play that stuff.
Yeah. And we dressed the part. Everything I do has to be theatrical. Going back to theater.
Right.
If I'm going to put on a one-off show like that, we asked people to dress up, get the captain hats and the dresses, and we had special drinks at the bar. And it was a lot of fun.
Cool. So let's take a look at this next video here. It's Country Roads.
Yeah, the John Denver. Yeah.
Country Roads. Whatever.
Right.
People love that song. I hate it. But
it goes over.
It goes over.
Oh my God!
And again, if you do what he and I do, it's like being a plumber. You don't say, "Well, I don't work on that kind of piping." You're a plumber. You work on everything.
Right.
And I'm not disparaging plumbers. I got a message once when I said that. What's wrong with being a plumber? Nothing. But as a musician, it's like you play what you think the people might like, not what you like.
That's also what the Pub Kings does. Is we play the songs people want to sing along to, what they want to dance along to, not what we want. We're lucky if we like half the songs we're playing.
Right. It's interesting. I went to see Steely Dan a couple of months ago, and I love Steely Dan, but nobody else does.
It's a tough one to
It was
cover.
a room full of musicians.
That would work with the yacht rock, though.
Right. Peg.
Yeah.
I know all those Steely Dan songs, but tell us about the Country Roads.
So that was
Central Tavern, which is on Central Street in Milford. You can get much more central.
One of the best stages that we have in the area,
great.
I think. That was We're Going Streaking, and that was just an upbeat, fun rock top 40 band. Mm-hmm. Just going right at it.
Right.
There was no theme or anything, and that was the last call song.
Yeah.
And we had a decent crowd that night, and as you can see in the video, everyone's singing along, and it's really what I miss about it. With 2 years, we lost this, and you know it. You're playing a song. When somebody starts singing the song that you're playing, and you don't even have to sing along with it, it's amazing.
There's nothing better than
It's
that.
really, and it'll elevate your mood. You could start with nobody on the dance floor, and you're just kind of going through the motions. 3 people get up and start dancing, and you start to feel it. And then before you know it, you're on, you're 110%.
So let's hear this, Country Roads, and what's the name of this band again?
We're Going Streaking.
We're Going Streaking. Okay, cool.
Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country road, bring it home, boy.
So we are back here, and I do want to get in another video here, and this is all night long, and this is
This is Devlin's in Bellingham.
Devon's, another great place that is starting to come back, and please go out to these places and patronize these places. Before we play that all night long, you just reminded me, I've been playing, what's Stephanie's place's name?
Valley Pub. Yeah.
Valley Pub is a great place.
Yeah, it is.
And that's in Whittinsville. In the middle of nowhere, it's right there, in the middle of it. It's such a cool place. We played there in June of last year. Music came back last March. And that first month of March was just no singing, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, we had to wear the masks. And you couldn't even sing at all. That's right.
So I did 3 or 4 gigs of just me and my looper.
Wow.
That sounds like a song. Me and my looper, me and my looper, me and my... And, you know...
You gotta write that before someone steals it.
Yeah. And so June, so I was thinking, it's only a few months later, we played outside in that back, and we got almost $500 in tips.
Nice.
And I'm not bragging. I'm just... It wasn't because we were great. It was because people were thankful that music was back. I love that place, man. And I played in great places all over the world, really. And I played a lot of these beautiful hotels in downtown Boston. You can be coming in with all your stuff, and no one will open up a door.
Yeah.
Valley Pub, they will carry your equipment in.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what the kind of people they are. I mean, it's a blue-collar place.
Yep.
And you get almost $500 in tips. Are you kidding me?
Those are the places I like playing. We
I
just played the
love those
Natick
places.
Elks. Just salt-of-the-earth people.
I know that place, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful. Blue-collar people.
And how was the crowd? Because last time I played there, it was empty.
It's a long room.
A big long room.
Yeah,
right,
nobody's going to come right up front and listen to you.
Right.
So there was a decent crowd. We played there twice. First time was better, but there was a loud band upstairs the second time. Saw a lot of the same faces.
Was that like a private thing upstairs?
Yeah,
And
there's
you
another
guys were
hall
the
upstairs. We were
club members?
downstairs, yeah. But they open it to the public. They have bands there on weekends, and downstairs they open it to the
Right.
public.
So all night long, you
Yeah,
introduced
Lionel
this one?
Richie. That was at Devlin's in Bellingham. Liz Devlin owned Liz's Diamond in Hopedale, and that was another room that was really big for the local music scene. And during COVID, she got rid of that one. Now she just has Devlin's, and we were there maybe 2 years ago. I think that this was right before everything happened.
Okay, all night long.
Jumbo, it's a party, oh we go. Hey, jambalaya, jambalaya, say them oh yeah. Hey, jumbo. Whoa, hey, we gonna have a party all night long. Yeah, all night long. All night long.
Cool. So we are back. We only got, I'd say about 10, 15 minutes or so left. Just quickly, tell me about the radio business. What
It's
is up
tough.
with it? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm on Sirius FM satellite.
I get it.
I'm not listening to FM anymore because I can get
You have
exactly
choices.
what I want.
Yeah. I do it. I put my playlists on from time to time. But I'll tell you what's winning is local radio. Small community local radio. You can't turn on XM and get local news, local information.
No.
You can't hear me talking about my experience at Depot Street Tavern eating there the night before. You know, you're not going to get that. You don't get that personality.
So you think there is a future?
I do. It would be nice if iHeart and all those big companies just imploded and splintered off into family businesses. That'd be wonderful. I think radio should be owned by private.
I wish, that could happen. And you might be too young to remember. I mean, when I grew up, I listened to this subversive thing called WBCN that only the cool kids, a famous story I've said. I play, it's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Well, I went to see Elton John because I was listening, a friend of mine told me to go, and I heard this keyboard player on BCN, and I kind of liked it, but I went to see him at the Music Hall, which is now the Wang Center, and I just loved it, and I loved that song. That night, I've been playing that song 50 years. I went home and learned it, and I've been playing it the whole time, but I happened to be going out with a girl at the time, and we have the what is the statute of limitations, right?
Yeah.
On lies, I might have told her I wrote that song for her because she I went to Boston Latin, and she was going to Girls Latin, the two straightest schools in the world, and I guess she was listening to RKO AM. You know, there's
Yeah.
no way she would ever hear this song.
You got away
so,
with it.
I wrote this song for you, and I wrote
Yeah.
down this song
Right.
for you.
Because it sounds so natural. The song sounds like you're
yeah,
making it up as you go.
And the point of the matter was, radio back then was, what did the DJ want to play?
Yeah.
The best
You're hearing
song
songs for the first
in
time.
the world written about that is Tom Petty, The Last DJ.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's
Great
just
song.
The Last DJ. He plays what he wants to play. And now he's down in Mexico doing it. It's just a great song. But that was the radio. It was subversive. It was, you know, again, Jethro Tull and Janis Joplin would never have been signed. Frank Zappa, you know, because
Yep.
they just... Because back in those days, it was the big guys with the cigars saying, I don't know what this music is, but it looks like the kids like it. Sign them.
Right. And I was there.
Now it's all computers.
I was there at the end. So late 90s, early 2000s, before, I mean,
Right.
well, I don't know, how long's the internet been around? Well, it was still the early
Mid-90s.
stages. Yeah, it was still the early stages. So there wasn't a lot of ways to get your music. It
Right.
was the radio. And you'd win CDs, and or you'd go buy your
Right.
CDs and your tapes and all that. So there was still an excitement about radio. I would go to concerts. I would get backstage. I would talk to all the big names. And then, you know, XM and satellite and the internet just kind of ruined everything.
Yeah.
Didn't ruin everything. I shouldn't say it ruined everything, because I have a lot of respect for a lot of that. I do, because you know what it's doing? It's just exposing more artists.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So go on, though.
Yeah, because radio's not doing that anymore. I do it because I'm local. I can do
You
those
can get
things.
away with it.
I can do that. Of course I can. Yeah.
Really?
So I can. I do. I play local guys all the time.
Really?
So I think it's important. And the big companies aren't doing that, because J Lo, her song needs to play every 45 minutes, or you know, the latest.
And that's what they do,
Boy
right?
band
It's
or-
about 5 or 6 or 7 songs.
Oh my God!
per
It's like an hour and
on the big
15
ones.
seconds. Hour and 15 seconds, I think, is the rotation for the big
Hour and-
the big
and
songs.
How many songs is that? 10?
A day?
Yeah,
probably.
like for an hour, because they have to.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like 10
commercials.
songs that are being played over and over and over again?
It really is.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know how they gauge that anymore. Well, I think it's still the ratings, but you know, they would do focus groups. They'd find out what song is
Right.
big. But a radio guy would come in the station and say, "I want to put some money down on this. I need you. I'll give you concert tickets if you play this band."
Right.
And that's how it worked. And I don't know. How it
Payola
works anymore.
was
Yeah, well,
real.
yeah, it was.
If you ever wondered why Billy Don't Be a Hero became a hit,
A lot of money.
that is the nature. So where are you now? What are you doing right now?
Just doing the Pub Kings thing as far as music goes.
Right.
And, we still write some music from time to time.
Yeah.
I want to get more into that. But we are just a bar band, a brewery band.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
Yeah.
And we get into business with the people we're working with, much like you.
Right.
You know how to work the crowd. You know how to go in somewhere.
Yeah, we become
keep
part of
people
the
in
family of these
Exactly, and that's what
places,
we
you know.
do. We're not just looking for a payday, because we're not getting rich doing this.
No, there's not a ton of money. But
It's gas
you know,
money.
Again, you're a little bit younger than me, but once you get to a little bit older, you realize, having a good friend of ours die recently, it's like, this isn't going to be forever. And I've got like pains in my shoulder, pains in my,
Yeah,
you know,
get there,
you're around the third base.
Yep.
And
So-
you're seeing home.
Right.
You know?
So I'm not jumping around the stage with the big bands like I used to. This is a little
And
bit
it
more
helps your
subtle.
ears. It helps your ears.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
far
yeah.
as that.
But we can still let loose when we need to, and it's fun. We connect with the audience audience connects with us.
Yeah.
We're part of the crowd is part of the band, and that's how we like to roll.
Yeah.
We pass up a lot of gigs because it's just not the right room.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of musicians make that mistake, that they think they can play anywhere. I book a lot of bands, and I'll have to tell them, I just don't think you're the right fit.
And there's a lot to be said about fit for musicians in places. I won't play certain places anymore. I'll only play nicer places. I won't play bars where, like, somebody's watching the Bruins game and you're playing right to their backs.
Yeah.
I've done it,
It's
like
tough.
5 feet away. And there's a place I play, I have no names, where, if Aretha Franklin rose from the dead and Paul McCartney were doing a duo in this place, people might say, wow, that's Aretha Franklin. She rose from the dead, and that's Paul McCartney. Okay.
The Tradesman could have been that place, but it wasn't. You walk
No.
in, you would think that, because TV's everywhere. As soon as the music started, people paid attention to those bands and gave the bands the
Why?
respect they deserved.
Why do you think
It was a family
Milford was
there.
such a different place?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
It was a family.
yeah.
That social was half musicians, half people that just wanted to come out and hear music.
Right, right.
You know, we played gigs with the loud band with an old guy sitting at the corner of the bar.
Yeah.
And he stayed.
Right.
Out of respect? I don't know.
Define old.
96, 97?
No way. Okay, so.
Are we doing another one?
Yeah, let's do another tune.
We talked a lot. That's good, though.
What about Dead Flowers?
'Cause I'd rather talk than sing.
I love Dead Flowers.
Okay.
I haven't played that one in a long time. Yeah.
This is a Matt Zajac special, by the way.
Oh, really? I did not
Well,
know
that's
that.
why we're doing this, because every time I go to see him, he performs this very well. I'm like, we can do this. But I always call it a Matt Zajac original, even though it's the Stones. Well, when you're sitting there in your silk upholstered chair, talking to some rich folks that you know, well, I hope you won't see me in my ragged company. Well, you know I could never be alone. Take me down, little Susie, take me down. Well, I know you think you're the queen of the underground, and you can send me dead flowers every morning. Send me dead flowers by the mail. Send me dead flowers to my wedding, and I won't forget to put roses on your grave. Well, when you're sitting back in your rose pink Cadillac, making bets on Kentucky Derby Day, well, I'll be in my basement room with a needle and a spoon. Another girl to take my pain away. Yeah, take me down, little Susie, take me down. Well, I know you think you're the queen of the underground, and you can send me dead flowers every morning. Send me dead flowers by the mail. Send me dead flowers to my wedding, and I won't forget to put roses on your grave. And I won't forget to put roses on your grave.
Trying to bring my best Keith Richards into that one, which I love that song. That reminds me where I grew up in Allston, Massachusetts, where, you know, some of those things with the needle and the spoon, a lot of my old friends didn't make it to the 21st century because of that. But so let's talk about what you've been doing charity-wise for many, many years. In fact, I think you got recognized by your Tom for that, right?
Yeah, it's random. It's really, I don't know what it is. Put on a show, raise a little money for something.
Right.
There's never really been a thought process to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to help people. So whether it's the Milford Youth Center or Red Cross or,
Did you do that
I do like
the
the
hospital
Uber.
over there, too?
Well, we do that with the radio station, yeah. The Oliva Fund for Cancer Care.
Yeah.
It's a local family, the Olivas. They own like a bakery and a sandwich shop.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been raising money through the radio station. We raised $1 million over the course of 10 years. It's a small radio station.
And who's we?
The radio station, the
Right,
owner, Tom
right.
McAuliffe, and the employees. Every year we do a radiothon and just get the phones going and raise the money.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been working on. I can't take credit for that. That was before I got here. Just somebody's in need. We built a studio for Carly Gonzalez, who had cancer, and Make-A-Wish couldn't give her the
What
studio.
kind of studio? What do
It was
you
a
mean?
basement studio. She's a
Like a
she's a
music studio?
performer, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Make-A-Wish couldn't give her that
Yeah.
for whatever reason. So we put on a few shows, raised some money, and built a studio in the basement for her. So
Great.
it's all little things like that.
Didn't you get sent down to Disney World or something?
No, no.
You got sent somewhere.
Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right. I went to Cleveland, which is not Disney World.
I love-
but,
I-
dude, I love Cleveland.
I went to Cleveland before the COVID, after I retired in 2019, and my wife was working. I'm like, I've always wanted to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I did it. It
Yeah.
cost like $200 to fly there and $200 for Airbnb, and I liked
Ubers
it.
are cheap. It's a great city.
You stay right
Cleveland
downtown,
rocks.
you
Yeah.
know, right next to the football stadium there. And did you go to the Rock and Roll Hall
We
of
did.
Fame?
We went 2 days. So
Me too. I
what-
did 2 days.
What you were referring to was some people got together at the local music awards and presented Molly and I some citations from the town, and also the trip to Cleveland. So that was
Yeah.
really nice.
So again, let's talk about the music awards. What was that? And how did you start that?
Worcester had one, and
I knew they
I
had
went
one,
to
yeah.
it and I didn't like it. It's
Really?
fine. It's fine for what they do. You know what I didn't like about it? They had like 3 main acts, and they played 5, 6, 7 songs. So you had to sit
Sounds
there
like
and
a
listen.
battle of the bands.
Yeah, you have to sit there and listen to like a whole performance.
Right.
And when you just want to get to the awards. So I decided, well, let's do it just like the Grammys. Let's just have one performance. Have a band come up, do another performance. And we got like 10 or 12 performances, and then in between the awards.
And not only that, we had the red carpet.
We had
I
a
gotta
red
get some
carpet, yeah.
pictures for this.
We had a limo.
We were out front, and the limo was in back.
Yeah.
It would pick us up and drop us up, and there was a red carpet and beautiful women in satiny dresses. And
And then I would go back around, pick up some more people.
And you did
yeah.
a Blues Brothers thing.
I did that with Tony Soul.
Right,
And
right.
that's-
Wasn't Justin in that too?
Justin was in that. So I used to do the lip syncing in high school to the Blues Brothers. I did
really?
that 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to perform it live was a dream of mine. And Tony said, let's do something. I'm like, God, let's do the Blues Brothers. And it was so authentic with the horns.
And it was such a big thing. But again, there were some downsides, right?
yeah, it
people
was
get
working with the
upset.
industry. And yeah,
Because
because
people get, oh, who this? And
Yeah.
then you changed from the word best, I remember, to
Favorite.
favorite, which was a good thing.
it's a
to do.
popularity contest. It
Yeah,
is.
right,
You know,
right.
you get your friends to vote for you.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
But I got yelled at. It was a
I
hassle.
mean,
I love doing
my
it.
duo won one year, and it was just a freaking honor. It was a blast.
It was
you know?
like the social. It was everyone
Right.
coming together on a Sunday just to hang out and celebrate local music. But it did become
It
a
was
headache.
beyond big. I mean, how many people did you get? 200?
200-300, yeah.
200 or 300?
We did it at
on
Liz's.
a Sunday in some place that would normally have 14 people.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
We did it at Liz's. We started at Pins for a couple of years, and then we ended at Liz's. But, you know, COVID kind of ruined everything. We weren't able to do it. And I don't know if I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah.
'Cause the
it's
scene's not
just
the same anymore.
A lot of things just broke with the tradesmen gone. That was home for us. You know, we don't have a home right now. Maybe it's Stephanie's place there, Valley Pub.
Maybe, but we lost a lot
that's
of bands
hall.
over 2 years.
That's a hall. Waynesville's a little
Waynesville,
bit of
yeah,
a-
it's kind of
To
far.
me, it's like you go on 109 for like 4 hours.
But then you get there, and it's like, that took me 20 minutes. So,
It just seems really
Right.
far away.
but we lost a lot of bands. We lost a lot of
Yeah.
the momentum that we had.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the music, the local music awards make sense anymore, unfortunately.
So we'll figure out. So what's
Yeah.
the future for you right now?
Just keep playing, but
Right.
doing fun things, doing things I want to do. As soon as it gets boring, as soon as
Right.
as soon as you're arguing with people, not for me. So we are the Pub Kings are picking the shows we want to pick. We're playing the music.
You
that-
guys get along.
Oh, we're all friends. So it's Justin
Yeah,
and
still,
I
you
go
can be
way
friends
back.
in a band. And
Yeah. So
being
it's more.
in bands sometimes more difficult than being in a marriage.
absolutely.
Believe me. No, why? Because it's just an edge and a sensitivity. We're defensive. We get.
But we get egos.
right. Egos,
and they clash.
Inhibited. You know, you're just
The Pub Kings is
insecure was the word I was looking for.
it's
you
a
know?
night out with buddies. That's what the Pub Kings is.
Uh-huh.
I don't
right.
golf. This is
Right.
our golfing outing.
You know, that's
what I mean?
That's. You know, I'm the same way. I don't do any guy things,
Yeah.
golf or hunt or play pool or anything like that.
So we go out, we play music.
I play music, and
Yeah.
and again, you hope to do it another 20 years. I hope.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
actually come up
We
with
all
a
wanna be
number.
Tony
I don't want to
Soul.
say my number, but it's a symmetrical number from my first year that I started in 1970 to my, and I think it's doable. Although this shoulder's been killing me. So let's end with a tune.
Oh, we'll do another one, all
right. That Zach Brown one.
Chicken fried. I was in a country band for a bit. I should mention Tailgates Down. That was a lot of fun. That was
Right,
a
that
couple
was
years.
with Shana.
Yeah, Shanna ended up in the band. We had Meg first, but that was a lot of fun. But we did stuff like this. I'm a big country guy. Going to Nashville tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
I am, yeah.
For what?
Just, my 50th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, going with.
And have you been there?
11 other people, just during the day, a couple hours. So we're staying 3 days.
I've been there. I played NAMM there with Ingrid Andress, who was doing bar gigs with me 7 years ago, and now she's getting Grammy nominations and CMA nominations. But she and I did NAMM down there because she was living down there, and it's funny. Let me just stop this. Nashville. So I get out, and I'm at the Sheridan right downtown, and I'm there. I know the music scenes around here, so I just go into Broadway. And I go in Juan Barre. Unbelievable band.
Yeah.
Better band. Blow me away band.
Yeah.
Better. Then you get to the end where the river is. You cross the street, and you come and there's one that's famous one with 3 floors of musicians.
A lot of them do have
starting
that.
at midnight. No, at midday at 12. I think they end at 2 or 4 or something like that. You don't bring any equipment. You bring your guitar, and that's it. And they don't pay the musicians.
No.
It's all tips.
Yeah, but they probably make more money. And these
It was the most. If I was 20 years old, I would have moved to today. I would move down to Nashville for you young musicians.
And these musicians are better than the ones you're hearing on the radio.
Right. The person on the street playing for nothing, tips, is better than what you hear normally. I mean, it's just the Dixie Chicks have a great song, playing on Broadway, trying to make a big star. You know, it's a great song. I love that, Tom. I should get on there with my wife for a weekend.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't wait.
So let's try this tune, which I...
You know I like my chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio on. Whoa, whoa.
Shoot up that riff.
Well, I was raised underneath the shade of a Georgia pine. That's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. And my house is not much to talk about, but it's filled with love. It's grown in southern ground, and a little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio on. I like to see sunrise, see the love in a woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and no mother's love. Well, it's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind, this I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio on. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in a woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and no mother's love. Chorus one more time. I'll get your little chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio on. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in a woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, no mother's love. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I know there's a slow part.
Yeah, there is, but I figured
That's all right.
You know, we did so good with that. I don't want to push it.
Hey, let's.
I know we're running
Thanks
late,
for Ray
too.
for coming in tonight,
Bill, thank
and
you.
episode 34, and we'll see you next time, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.